What's up? This is Udolena from Udolena Digital, and today I want to talk about the differences between Facebook and Google advertising. So why I want to talk about this? I can see that a lot of advertisers are questioning whether they should be advertising on Facebook or on Google, what makes sense. So this is why I wanted to actually compare the two platforms, and I believe that both of them are great. I don't want to endorse any of them. And make sure that people understand the differences and make an informed decision, because this is really what it is the job of an advertiser. They must evaluate and make an informed decision knowing all the factors that are coming into the equation. So today we're going to go through the main differences between these two platforms, and I'll explain. Hopefully the process will make much more sense. So first of all, the main difference between Facebook and Google is the targeting. So when it comes to audiences, you can check my video. I made a video about Google audiences, so you can see the different types. However, Google's main argument against Facebook is that they have much more information, because they have not only Google but also YouTube, also Gmail, Maps, Google Play, Android, and also other platforms. So they can get a very, very detailed kind of rounded image of the buyer. So they know not only their demography and their interests, but very, very nichely what they are looking and what they're interested in. Intent, knowing the intent of the user, versus Facebook knowing the declared interest. So Facebook would say, you like pages about strawberries, you recently liked these images with strawberries, we'll show you ads about strawberries. Very, very, very simplified, but basically both platforms are kind of claiming that they have nailed the right targeting and advertising. So you can check my video on the different Google ads, audiences, and understand what they are available. Pretty much the same types are available with Facebook right now. So it's up to you to understand and evaluate which one makes much more sense for you. Then it comes the automation. So both platforms are extremely automated. You can check my recent video about automation. Basically, both platforms are really focused on automating everything and making it less manual labor, much easier for advertisers. However, Facebook is doing everything by default. So let's say whenever you're creating a Facebook campaign, you are by default giving them the right to rule your campaign, to do adjustments, bidding and targeting for you. Whereas on Google, you are by default manual. So by default, you have a lot more choices. This is why actually the user interface is much more complicated, which is my next point. Just because Google is giving you all these options, and especially if you're a new advertiser, can be very, very confusing. But the reason behind is because they want to actually make sure that you can do things manually, but if you want, you can allow them to do it automatically. So this is a major difference, and this is why actually Facebook has been much more successful into getting automated campaigns from the beginning and getting really small advertisers without any experience to be very successful with them, just because they opt them in by default into their automated solution. Then comes the user interface. So this is a very big one. Now Google has a new interface for AdWords, for Google Ads, which got rebranded together with the launch of the new interface. And it's kind of a step towards a more simplified, more automated type of experience for the users. Whereas Facebook has done this since the beginning. So they had this product that they developed straight from scratch. Basically, whenever you create a Facebook business page, you are kind of encouraged immediately with notifications to create ads as well. They show you how the ad looks, and basically with a few clicks you can launch this ad and run it fully automated without having to create a Google Ads account, which is a bit more complicated process. However, if you want to do things more manually, if you want to actually do a few more sophisticated things on Facebook, you still have to use their interface, which is now very similar to Google Ads interface. Then one of the major topics when it comes to assessing the performance of two platforms is the conversion tracking. So first of all, what is a conversion? So conversion is an action which the user takes on your website, which is valuable for you. So this can be they submit a form and end up in your mailing list, or they subscribe for notifications, or let's say they download something or watch a video. You decide what is the conversion, but it's a useful kind of action that users are taking. And usually when you are advertising with paid ads, you are measuring the conversions. Let's say I'm spending this much money, what I'm getting out of it. So conversion tracking is set up in a very different way in both Google Ads and Facebook ads, which is quite confusing. So by default in Facebook, you will have one column saying conversions, and in this column they will include the conversions which happened when someone clicked on your Facebook or Instagram ad, and the conversions that happened when someone just scrolled by it. So you see all this total number, which is giving you obviously much more conversions and less cost per conversion. Whereas on Google, by default, you will have a column called conversions, and these are conversions basically coming from clicks. So someone clicked on an ad, came to your website in the next 24 hours, or whatever window you have set up, and they have completed this action. So if you want to see your view-through conversions, or the conversions that happened after someone just viewed the ad, let's say they saw a banner somewhere on a website and then they returned without clicking on the ad, this is measured as a separate column which you have to add. So with Google it's kind of a bit two-step, so you have to actually add extra columns in order to see all these conversions together, and in order for you to get a column with the actual cost per conversion that you are having. So if you compare all the Google conversions versus all the Facebook conversions, you will typically get the same cost per conversion, but just because by default Facebook is adding the view-through and the click-through conversion in one row, it's very easy for you to get confused and to give much more credit to Facebook, saying, well, look, they are bringing you more conversions at a lower cost. And which brings me to the next point, which is also very important, how they measure that someone actually viewed your ad. So Facebook measures anytime when someone saw more than 0 pixels of your ad for more than 0 seconds. So any millisecond or any small piece of pixel that someone has seen, this is counted as a view, which is going to be changing. They are working on a better model, because this is obviously not a great way to assess whether someone viewed an ad or not. It is not part of the industry standard which Google is using. So Google is kind of playing much more on the rules in this way. They are measuring when 50% of the pixels of the ads are on focus on the screen for more than 1 consecutive second for an image, or 2 consecutive seconds for a video. So there is a big difference between this view and that view. So even if you actually include all the conversions together, you might end up having much more on Facebook, just because they are measuring pretty much anything as a view on Instagram and on Facebook, whereas Google is like a much more strict way of measuring what is a view and what isn't. I hope this makes sense. You can also check, when you're interested in measurement, my video about attribution models on Google. I'll post a link above this video. This is all from me for today. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. Let's grow this community. Please comment if you have any questions, or if there is something else that you want me to review or to talk about. I'll be back next week with a new video. Thank you so much and have a great week.